Here at Blue Apron, we know exactly how hectic school nights can be. That's why we created Assemble and Bake. Delicious one-pan meals that make family dinner simple. Just assemble the pre-chopped ingredients and put the pan in the oven to bake. Then you're free to help out with that last-minute diorama. Shop Assemble and Bake at blueapron.com. Get 50% off your first 2 orders with code APRON50. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
This week, I'm with Chris Etchingham from the Man on the Post podcast, who is, unfortunately for him, a Liverpool fan. How you doing, Chris?
I'm really good, actually. I was very disappointed after the Champions League final, but I have to say your end-of-season review podcasts really were the tonic I needed.
Good, yeah, I'm sure it was. Yes, we tried to stay upbeat. I was like, it can't be too doom-laden, but like, what else can you do? It got to such a desperate point that I was cheering on City on the final day of the season and like watching 3 games at once, cheering City goals, just desperate times. And then cheering on Real Madrid, Franco's club. So it's, yeah, that's how bad it gets.
That's what you've been reduced to.
Anyway, I had a nice chat with a chap called Ryan Baldy last week, who's a fellow writer, and he did this really good book actually about youth football, and there's a whole chapter on Trent Alexander-Arnold and his change of position. I was like, yeah, and it was all about how much the coaches had worked with him and didn't teach him to look at the man running behind him, did they?
Yeah. Did you, I don't know whether you saw it, but the day of the Champions League final, there was an article in The Guardian, there's an interview with Trent, and the headline was something like, I see things that others don't. And then 12 hours later, of course, we didn't see Vinny Jr.
He did not. Interesting season then. I mean, I don't know, 10 years after Fergie left, I don't know whether United fans have quite got used to how shit we are. or just the black humour has taken over. It's a very odd culture now. I suspect there's some match-going fans are just a bit more used to it now and accepting that, hey, we were shit once before, we can be shit again. But online culture is really toxic. So I don't like spending any time with Manchester United fans online. It's miserable.
I've got to be honest, I follow more United fans than Liverpool fans. I think it was Jonathan Wilson, who may be in a Blizzard podcast, said that United have only really had 2 periods of success. First under Busby, second under Ferguson. And what you see now is what they generally have been under those 2 managers. Is that fair?
Well, there was a period of when they won their first... United won the first title in historians here are going to kill me. 09, 05 or 09. It's around that period. They won a couple of titles then. And Busby was obviously built a couple of sides. The post-war side and then the Busby Babes side, which would probably have gone on to win more, we can assume. And then obviously the 60s side. So that period was stretched out a bit further maybe. And then obviously Fergie. So I suppose Wilson's right technically. Although there's quite a few more years than just making it sound like, it's a couple of blocks of winning and nothing else, and they've been shit apart from that.
That was it. Yeah. Well, I mean, where are you now? You're 9 years after you last won the league, I guess, aren't you? So 9 years after we last won the league, you guys got the treble. So, you were very nearly had history repeating itself.
True, yes. I mean, it's one of those ones where time has flown by. Yeah. United are now further away from the treble than they were from the treble to the relegation season under Dennis Law or something like that, aren't they?
Well, you might be only 2 years away from a Scouse treble if history does repeat itself, of course.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. It's for all the talk of the quadruple this season. Does it feel like a disappointing season? So you came out with the 2 minor trophies, or the third and fourth ranked trophies.
I think in the manner of both the last game of the season against City and the way we lost to Real Madrid, I've kind of made my peace with it quite quickly. So, we were never really in the trophy on the Premier League on the last game of the season. I was quite sort of at peace with the fact that we weren't getting, the sort of the day of the last game. I was quite sort of, hey ho, the City are going to win. We'll probably win. And then, of course, when Villa go 2-0 up and we're already drawing, I thought, well, typical. So I didn't think that was going to happen. But, they won, we won. I think with Tottenham, I don't think it was ever likely that we were ever gonna win the league. And then with the Champions League, previewed on our podcast the week before, and I suggested that the final would be very much the Rumble in the Jungle, the sort of rope-a-dope. We would be Foreman sort of pounding away, and then in the 8th round out would come Real Madrid alley with one smash, and they're down. And that's pretty much what happened in the final. And you can't do anything about Thibaut Courtois having a game like that. You can shoot as much as you want. We could still be there today, and Thibaut Courtois would still be he'd still be saving them and everything. So I made my peace quite quickly with the fact we hadn't got those 2 trophies. It's probably a bit of a disappointing season. Yeah, you're right, because we were in it for so long. But I love this Liverpool team. Absolutely adore them. I was talking to someone today, Divock Origi, I love more than Robbie Fowler, and he's my favourite Liverpool player. And I think Robbie Fowler's now gone behind Jordan Henderson as my next favourite Liverpool player. I absolutely love this team to bits. So we didn't get it, but I still get to look at Virgil van Dijk next season and things like that. And Luis Diaz is coming through, and looks like we've got Darwin Núñez. So there's plenty of reasons to be cheerful as a Liverpool fan at the end of this season, I think.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I was trying to provoke a reaction, but I didn't get much of one.
Sorry. I'm outraged, absolutely outraged.
It's look, of course, United fans would be desperate for a season where we're in a fight for the title and got to 3 cup finals for sure. Of course, those days are long gone, and it doesn't mean they won't come back, but it's a long road back from where United are right now, and requires the club to leverage its vast resources in some kind of non-totally incompetent capacity, which we haven't seen any sight of for 10 years. So maybe there's reasons to be bullish, I suppose. It's brand new everything, brand new manager, brand new chief executive, brand new director of football, brand new technical director, brand new coaching team, brand new scouting team, brand new head of scouts. The whole lot is new, like the sweat house.
Does that give you hope that all the crapness from before, all the reasons for being bad from before have kind of gone, and you got a brand new breed? Does that give you hope for the season?
Yes, except there's one thing hasn't changed: who owns the club.
I thought you would say Harry Maguire, honestly.
Well, yeah. Hey, there's time there. Ten Hag might drop him on the opening day of the season, then all will be good with the world again. So, yeah, no, it's still the same owners, and they still have the same business model, which honestly isn't that different from Fenway's business model, which is run a tight ship or run within the means of the club. It's just they take dividends. Fenway doesn't. It's not loads of money. United have piles and piles of debt. Liverpool don't, not at least to the same extent. That's got interest, right? So that's a 50 million hit each season. And the other thing is they're just proven to be incompetent. So whereas Fenway haven't, they seem to run a club competently. And I don't think I don't think, for example, that anyone from Liverpool has to get on the phone to Boston and say, is it okay that we buy some more gym equipment? Which is literally what happened at United. Yeah.
No. I read the Athletic article where Rangnick had his mate in Russia watching the games.
Yeah.
And he was in the corridor at the dressing room checking his WhatsApp. I read that, and the fact that Darren Fletcher was told to sit down and stop giving out instructions contrary to Rangnick during the games. That really made me laugh. But yeah, I think a bit more frugal. So we bought, it's not like we got them in a raffle, but I think our net spend is about £28 million, and that included the purchase of Diaz and Konate. And I think got in 4 years that we spent over 40 million on. The season after we won we didn't buy anybody really of any particular note, and I think we were quite frugal during I think maybe it's the last sort of big signing we got at this sort of price range that we get in Núñez. I've watched a little bit of him, and I've been on YouTube and had a look at all his goals from last season. I'm pretty impressed with what I see. He's not just a poacher, he's other things in and around the box as well. So Sadio's definitely going.
Yeah.
Riga's going, and that's what Divock Origi leaving. So,
yeah, but he doesn't
looks
score
like-
any goals. He's going to have no impact on the actual pitch, is it?
No, well, the goals he did score were just sort of hugely important. My favourite memories of Liverpool Football Club have revolved around Divock Origi, so it's very sad to see him go. But we could be left next season with I don't even know whether could be left with Mo Salah. I mean, it looks fairly likely he's staying, but given the fact he said he wants to carry on playing the Premier League, even if his contract expires, might Liverpool cash in this season? I don't know. Bobby Sadio said he's definitely going. So we've got Jota, we've got Diaz, and now we've got Minamino, Pejo. So I'm really excited by the signing of Nunes. For Luis Diaz, I don't really think anyone expected him to have the impact he had straight away. Maybe 6 months and he could have sort of bedded in over the course of the summer. But the way he came in, the way he played against you guys as well at Anfield, that was just immense, the way he did that. And Konate settled in as well. He's done pretty well. And he's got quite a competition because Virgil's a guaranteed starter. So, he's either Joel Matip, Joe Gomez or Ibrahima Konate. So he's done incredibly well. And he looks huge. That might be why he's not been dropped by Klopp because he's too scared to. But I think little in with us. And the fact that we got him not cheap, but you wouldn't be able to buy Luis Diaz now for about £38 million, would you?
No, and Liverpool do seem to have this knack of being able to find the right players at the right price. I mean, Jota was also a reasonable price, wasn't he, for the impact he's had? And I'm not quite sure what that knack is, but it's a knack. Nunes is costing a lot of money. That's a gamble, of course, because he's coming from a league where the standard isn't anywhere near as high. Not everyone who's come out of the Portuguese league has succeeded in England, although many have. So it's quite a few have. So we'll see. Bebe
didn't.
Liverpool's finances are pretty good generally. Didn't build a new stadium. Have incrementally been, improving Anfield. So there's not piles of debt or anything like that. It wasn't a leveraged buyout, so there's not piles of debt from that. So there's many reasons to be. Many reasons for Liverpool fans to be hopeful. I think, as I said, I was talking to Andy Green about United's finances. So if United could just get it together, there still is a higher ceiling financially, United, than most clubs in the world, right? But they've just shown no apparent competence. And it doesn't make any sense to me, because if they were competent, they'd make even more money and they could still extract some money each year and the value of the club would go up. And when they want to sell, they could sell it for more money. But as it is, the price of United on the stock market is below IPO price from 10 years ago. They've literally set money on fire.
Why do you think the Glazers have allowed that then? Because obviously they're not stupid people. They've made an awful lot of money. So, are they mothballing United for a later date to sell? Or
honestly, I can't work it out. I think they've tried one way, it didn't work, and now they're trying another way. We'll see, right? Because if they don't give Murtagh power and a budget to go out and recruit the right people and follow a very standard model throughout European football, and then use that money in a very, very smart way, we're just going to get the same result again and again. We're going to get Ten Hag will fail. He'll be out before the end of the season because all the dressing room egos will get to him. They'll get the wrong players in this summer, and it's rinse and repeat and just carry on. So I don't know why, because people say, oh, they're not stupid people, but maybe they are, because it's their dad that made all the money. and these are just, they're just living off his successes in fish canning, crappy malls, and buying sports clubs at a too low a price.
He's no longer with us, is he, Glazer Senior?
No one shed a tear.
So, yeah. No, but maybe obviously they can't lean on him for experience anymore unless they use
a Ouija board.
I was going to say Derek Okora, but doesn't say Derek Okora, but he's no longer with us either. Yeah, you've been linked with Frankie de Jong, haven't you?
It seems like they're doing the deal, and they're trying to do the deal, and I'm going to assume with that one, I don't know insider knowledge, but I'm going to assume with that one that the player has indicated he's comfortable with moving if they strike a deal with Barcelona, who are just haggling for the biggest fee they can get, because they want to then go spend that on Bernardo Silva by the sounds of it.
We've got a Barcelona fan on our podcast, and she's quite happy to see de Jong go. So I don't know how that sort of bodes for you. He's
had a pretty poor season by all accounts. A pretty good season in his first season, I think. But he's the kind of player United need. United in midfield. I mean, 2 midfielders would be my first 2 purchases if I was looking to improve this United team.
What sort of midfielders?
A controller and a destroyer. So, yeah. So someone who can, like, United have no control in midfield. So it's a whole bunch of attackers who, for one reason or another, have not worked out very well, but on paper were very talented. So Rashford forming the toilet, Sancho adjusting to life, maybe the Bundesliga attacks, I don't know. Ronaldo, who's ancient and won't run around. Greenwood at Her Majesty's pleasure probably for the next 10 to 15. And Cavani injured all the time, right? So on paper, loads of talent there. In reality, didn't really work out. And even if it did work out, they can't keep the ball in midfield.
Well, yeah. I was going to say, I remember Rashford at Anfield. I can remember him getting the ball once, not which he miscontrolled and went straight through to Alisson. That was down the Coppin. That was the only thing I remember him doing at Anfield.
And that's been the entire season. Something is broken inside of his brain. He can't control a football anymore. And look, there's been nonsense, a lot of nonsense about that he shouldn't be helping to feed hungry kids.
Yes.
Yeah, right. Come on. It's not that. That's caused this problem.
I mean, to be fair, he shouldn't. That's the government's job. But yeah, there's
well, quite, yes.
a entirely different conversation. But yeah, no, I was just because I was before I came on, and I was sort of thinking back to the sort of games against you. The 5-0 at Old Trafford, was that this season?
Yes,
it was. Yeah, and I didn't see that game. I watched the 4-0 at Anfield, and what you say about the midfield was entirely true. There was absolutely nothing there. And to be honest, one of the weaknesses I think Liverpool have had this season. And I think you could bear it out a little bit at the Anfield game because it could have been a lot higher. I think at times our forward line have been quite... It's like sometimes they appear to be too casual in trying to get the ball into the back of the net, and we sort of slice an easy chance wide or hit it at the keeper or something like that. And it's like they're being a little bit too lackadaisical or trying to score the perfect goal like Arsenal did in 2004 and all this sort of thing. But watching the way our forward line played your guys at Anfield, your defence at Anfield was something else. I mean, obviously Harry Maguire had an absolute shocker, but Jordan Henderson did Hendo play the midfield? I can't remember who it was in the midfield, but our midfield sort of dominated yours as well.
Well, everyone dominates our midfield. United played Crystal Palace on the last day of the season, and Palace dominated our midfield. So it's like it's been absolutely tragically underappreciated. Is that the right word? and like the club has not for years invested in that area properly. Obviously, Pogba failed as a signing. I mean, he's got many qualities, but overall, the whole package, United have invested a couple $100 million in him over the last 6 years, and it's not been a good return on investment for many reasons. He's probably going to go to Juventus and be absolutely brilliant. Of course he is, because he's that kind of player. But aside from that, what is there? There's Nemanja Matic, who's like 900. Scott McTominay, who cannot pass a football and doesn't want the ball, hides in the passing lane. Everyone's pointing it out, going, this guy's hiding. He's in the shadow. He doesn't want the ball. And Fred, who's incredibly enthusiastic, but just spraying the ball all over the place. Maybe it hits a player, maybe it goes out, maybe he shanks it into row Z, who knows? So...
Is Scott McTominay still under the sort of category of up-and-coming young players, so we give him a pass for, like a free pass for the odd bad performance, or should he be a bit better? He
was Jose Mourinho's manager's player of the season, a trophy that Jose invented just to piss off Paul Pogba.
That's right.
And incredible scenes. I mean, just A1 perfect trolling, just incredible. World class. And what a shit of a man. And anyway, so he was Jose's manager's player of the season 5 years ago now. So no, I don't think you can say up and coming. Like McTominay for me has hit his ceiling. He's a very honest player in the parlance. He's always going to give a lot of effort. He always tries. He's probably better going forward than defensively, but he's like a jack of all trades. And so a nice player to have in the squad, but you don't want him if United, you don't want him in your team as the team chasing a top 4 spot. And you definitely don't want him in your team if by some miracle United are able to get back to chasing for titles again.
I like Hannibal. I watched the Arab Cup at the start of this year.
Right.
And he did pretty well. For some reason, FIFA, who are totally doing great with their media stuff. Have you seen their new
Right.
website? It's
There's
brilliant.
there's actually there's new documentary. I can say that. It's a word I can say, documentary. There's a new documentary on FIFA Plus that I really want to watch, which is about the rise of Croatian football after the war.
Yes, I want to watch that.
So
Yeah.
Donald McRae did an interview in The Guardian, which is a brilliant interview, by the way, if anyone gets a chance to read that. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. FIFA Plus.
Yeah, FIFA Plus is brilliant.
It's amazing.
And it's great. And they were streaming the Arab League, something completely different, the Arab Cup.
No, I'd take a stream of that as well. That might be entertaining.
They were streaming the Arab Cup games at the start of this year. And I fancied keeping my eye on Hannibal,
Right.
obviously because he's a sort of unique name with big hair, so it was easy to
Yeah.
spot. But also just considering that he played for you guys as well. And I was really impressed with him. And I was impressed, obviously, when he came on Anfield and started booting Jordan
it's
Henderson
brilliant.
up in the air. And I think you guys quite like that. So, I mean, I don't think Rangnick liked it. And I
didn't,
took your
yeah.
point. No, and I took your point about the fact that Rangnick doesn't want to expose young players to the sort of season you guys had. And I kind of get that. But is Ten Hag, I mean, Ten Hag's Ajax team was pretty young, wasn't it? So do you sort of have hope for him?
I wonder whether Hannibal needs to fill out a little bit, just be a bit more. Because, yeah, the Premier League is, I mean, it's not like it's not physical in the way that English football used to be, but it is very physical. And he is still quite slight, despite the fact that he loves kicking people. He's like that in the under-23s as well, by the way. That wasn't just targeting Jordan Henderson, although if it was, well done, lad.
Well, why would anyone want to target him? He's lovely, Jordan.
Yeah, maybe he's trying to fix it.
Why would
He was trying to
anyone want to
fix his
target?
funny run, wasn't he? He was like, Fergie was like,
I was going to talk to you about that today. Yeah, that's what Fergie said. wasn't
fix the gate. Yeah.
it? Is that the sole reason you didn't sign him? Is that just Fergie didn't like his run?
I don't know. I mean, it was probably something else, but Fergie always liked making excuses for when something didn't happen. But Gate is still talked about. It's good.
And I was going to ask you as well how you think Vanny Donder de Beek's going to work out, because he's back with Ten Hag now.
I don't know, because, in a sense, you'd say, well, if Ten Hag's picking his three-man midfield, he wants a controller, a destroyer, and then someone who's able to make those breaking runs. And that's the role that Van der Beek played in his Ajax side. I don't know where that would leave Bruno if he did that. Probably playing in one of the wide positions, which I think is probably a waste of his talents. But it doesn't seem to me that Van der Beek has sort of got the stuff for the Premier League.
Is that because he's not been used properly? I mean, I imagine the footballing brain that's Frank Lampard didn't use him properly for the last 6 months. So maybe Ten Hag is the kind of guy that can bring the best out in him, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I couldn't say that it was inevitable, though, because he just seemed to be physically a bit short as well. So he came on and he plays in a very different way to any of the other United players. He wants to play 1-2, so you can see him looking for the wall pass and making the runs, and no one else at United was following that at all. So who knows? They spend, I think they're in Melbourne and Singapore and probably somewhere else in Australia for pre-season. I think we play you lot in pre-season, actually.
That's mad how you're not going to the United States for this Ronaldo team.
Yeah, I know. Oh, no, he's free and clear now, apparently.
Oh, yeah, free, quote unquote.
Yes, I know. Yeah. Oh, God. It's so dirty, that whole situation. Anyway, so yeah, we play you in the summer, so I'm sure Ten Hag will want to have a look at him. But the midfield is desperately short. I mean, you've got players who don't play at all in your squad that would make United's midfield. I mean, Curtis Jones would probably walk into our midfield in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
and he hasn't had much of a season at Liverpool, really, has he?
No, he hasn't. I think our chosen midfield three would be Fabinho, Hendo, and it's been about 3 weeks since I watched football. So Thiago, that's it, yeah. And behind that, you got Milner. Do you have Milner in your midfield?
No.
He's old, but he can still run around a lot.
No.
He's probably full of asthma.
Also, he played for City, Liverpool, and Leeds, so no.
No, sorry, not would you take him? Would he get into your midfield? Sorry, for what I'm
hypothetically,
trying to say, yeah.
We'd take him just to lock him in the toilets, yeah. Like Carrington.
Curtis Jones, you're right. I mean, Naby Keita, would he get on well for you guys?
Probably. I mean, he is a bit spray and pray, isn't he, with his passing as well, and so
shooting as well.
he'd fit well in with our midfield in that case. But yeah, there's plenty more quality in Liverpool's squad than we've got in midfield. I mean, look, now short as well. They have to buy midfielders because Fred and McTominay, Pogba's gone, Matic is gone, Mata's gone. Not that Matic and Mata played loads of football last season, but still, just desperately short numbers. We'll see what happens with James Garner, who had a good season at Forest in the Championship. He has never played in the Premier League, so actually for his development it might be better for him to stay with Forest for a third season if he signs a new contract. And then Hannibal, who probably wants to play at number 10 but can kick anyone anywhere on the pitch, so it's all good.
Where about those two other players? You signed them, but is it Garancho and Palestri? Whereabouts do they play?
Yeah, they're wide players. So Garnacho looks like he's going to sign a new contract. He's super talented. Physically, I mean, it's not obvious. Although he got a few minutes at the end of the last season under Ragnick, not much. I mean, like crappy minutes at the end of games. But he was very good for the under-23s and the under-18s who won the FA Youth Cup. And he's got that kind of swagger to him, a player who knows he's good, which I like a bit of.
Yeah.
Palestri, hard to say. He got very little football at Alaves in La Liga, so it's hard. But he's doing well for Uruguay. He's a regular in the Uruguay side and has, he's certainly making the YouTube highlight reels. Can't say I'm honestly watching Uruguay every week, but...
Have you got a guy on loan at Rangers, or am I?
Yeah, Ahmad went to Rangers, hardly played at all. I mean, it wasn't obvious that was going to... the standard may be much lower, but it's really physical. The Scottish Premier League is like... talk about players booting each other. So...
Send Hannibal up there.
Yeah, so who knows? I mean, they spent 40 million. They spent more on, admittedly, it was like incentivised, but more on Ahmad than Liverpool spent on Diogo Jota.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the... And do you need any? Because obviously Jones has gone, hasn't he? Is he going, or is he still on a contract?
He's still got a contract for another year, and Eric Bailly as well. They'll have to probably pay him to go, and so they'll need another centre back for sure, because they'll be short on.
Are you just Lindelof and Maguire?
Lindelof, Maguire, and Varane, and Varane's obviously got injury problems, so it wasn't a great season for him. And Harry was obviously an absolute disaster class all season. So
do you need two centre-backs?
I mean, I don't know. What's that film? It's the prison football film.
Mean Machine.
Yeah. That's going to be Harry Maguire.
Danny Dyer.
In Mykonos when that finally...
Yeah, so there's that as well, isn't there? So you may be forced to not have him.
So who knows? I don't know.
So... Did you need one or two centre-backs then, do you think?
I mean,
given the fact that Varane's always injured.
I think there's almost no chance they'll buy two. So I think what will happen is they'll buy one, should be two midfielders, almost certainly a centre-back, given if they can get rid of Jones and Bailly. If they can't, then they won't, because that's just the way it works out. A forward of some kind, either a forward, either a flexible forward or a centre forward. So I don't think you can expect Ronaldo to... I mean, Ronaldo just doesn't fit in Ten Hag's system, although he's saying very nice things. You can't have an attacking trigger who just doesn't run. A pressing trigger that just doesn't run. It's not going to work. So
I like the look of Anthony at Ajax.
Yeah.
And I wonder whether you think we could fit in with you guys up front.
I probably coming off the right, Sancho or Rashford competing something on the left and something through the middle. But I assume Ajax would want a lot of money for him. So, and the budget with United in the Europa League, and the Glazers unwilling to either take out more loan, well, they took out more loans, or to inject equity, means the budget is not massive. So, yeah. Our summer budget, net summer budget, is probably what you guys have just spent on Darwin Núñez. So.
Oh, really?
Wow, maybe a bit more.
Okay.
Maybe a bit more.
I think it'll be more. Loads of clubs going to see you guys coming. I'm sure you'll be spending way more.
Yeah. That has been the way, yeah. Oh, obscure player in our reserve team. Yeah, that's 50 million euros. Yeah.
Did you see the Austrian team gegenpressing?
Yes, I did.
I think it was Poland into a goal.
I'm just amazing. Like they're just absolutely, like the Polish players did what the United players have done for most of the season and absolutely shit themselves when players pressed them, and it was just amazing. Like you watched it, he's 3 games in to his Austrian time, Rangnick, and he's got them pressing up the pitch, and they're singing his, name in the stands and his praises in the dressing room.
Who are you more infuriated with? Are you more infuriated with Rangnick because he couldn't get United players to do that, or the players because they didn't do that? I mean,
well, look, Rangnick failed at United, clearly, right? And part of his role is to get the players on side, and he was unable to do that. The fact that the players wouldn't follow instruction, and that after 4 games, I mean, he finally said it in one of his final press conferences. I mean, he took it all too far, I guess, that it was inevitable they were going to burn the relationship because he was just telling too many home truths in public. Oh, it's very entertaining, but you're like, yeah, they're not going to keep this guy on. But he said, he said what we could all see, which is about 4 games in, he stopped asking them to press. And then you got this weird situation where they weren't playing on the break. They couldn't control the football. So what have you got? If you're not a high-pressing team, you can't control the ball in midfield, and you can't play on the break because the guy up front's 900. Like, what are you? Right? So there's this complete mishmash of stuff, and eventually their confidence all went, and they all gave up in a very, very public way.
Given where you ended up at the end of the season, would you have finished any worse if you hadn't got rid of Ollie?
Probably not, although obviously that series of results, the battering, it was the heaviest 2-0 ever against City. Yeah, it should have been 5. The 5-0 against Liverpool and the 4-1 against Watford all came in pretty quick succession. And so, like, any manager is going to get sacked for that. And if he'd had any dignity, he'd have gone after that Liverpool game. But he was always very proud. He should have inevitably, like, with hindsight, he should have gone after Villarreal because that was the pinnacle, as furthest he could take this team. And he didn't get the players he wanted over the summer. And so and then they pulled off this last minute thing with Ronaldo, which just completely changed the dynamic. At least under Ollie, you knew what United could pull off, which is they could play defensively and they could play on the break because they had lots of quick players who could score goals in transition or got lots of penalties because with a broken pattern of play, they could get in the box and get fouled, right? So those are our routes to goal, playing on the break and getting penalties. Like the playing on the break was destroyed when you brought Ronaldo in, can't do it. And getting the penalties was destroyed because Klopp complained about it and the FA went, oh yeah, you're right, no penalties for United anymore.
Klopp complained. Really? It must be horrible having an opposition manager having such influence over the FA and referees. Where could he have learned that from?
I don't know. We used to have the influence from we called it the Gilluminati when David Gill had power over UEFA and the FA. He just had
not there anymore.
He had his tentacles in there, and inevitably, we had all our best friends giving us the things we needed. So apart from Rio, who didn't get what he needed.
You just need to do what Everton do, just sort of write strongly worded letters to the PGMOL.
Yeah, that works. Yeah.
All works out then.
Yeah. So
doesn't look in the least bit petty.
So where did Liverpool go from here? I mean, I could make a bit of a bear case for Liverpool. Mane going, Nunez, a lot of pressure. Salah unhappy with his contract offer. Maybe he goes too. I mean, I'm sure if Mane's going, I'm sure they won't countenance selling Salah. But he's only got a year left on his contract, so it's not the Fenway business model to just let players run down their contract. It's the United business model. We're letting 6 of them go for free this summer, at least. But it's not the Fenway business model. So there's a bear case for it. Maybe it's a difficult season next season.
Yeah.
Buy any of that?
No, I agree with you. We've got a lot of players aging at the same time that are around the sort of 30, 31. I mean, I'd kill to be 30, 31, but, that's old in football. So at the year, we've got a lot of players around that time. If it was, the more I see Salah dragging his heels over this contract, the more inclined I would be to sell him this summer, because I've got a horrible feeling if we let him go for free, he will end up City or Newcastle next summer for free and staying in the Premier League and scoring against us. So I would rather cash in on him this summer when you got some sort of agency over where he goes. And if that leaves us a little man down there for a little time, then then so be it. If I had a sort of wish list, if that happened, then I know Andrea Belotti's available on a free. That would be pretty cool to get someone like him, a proper number 9 in to sort of maybe take Salah's place.
No, we're not supposed to talk about people's looks, but he's the most Roman-looking player ever, isn't he? I mean, he could have been a Roman senator. I'm sure there's busts of him in the British Museum.
Yeah, you can imagine him next to Russell Crowe, couldn't you? But yeah, I mean, something like that. I mean, you don't have to break the bank to get some of these players in. To Patrick Schick or someone like that, he wouldn't be millions and millions of pounds. He'd be sort of a fairly serviceable transfer fee and salary, and he's guaranteed to score your goals. So if we did have to get rid of Mo, we would have to get somebody in. And you don't have to go for a Galactico. You can go for sort of either of those players.
Well, it's not been the Liverpool model anyway, has it? Galactico signing. So until now, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, is he Galactico signing? He's still fairly unproven, isn't he? Nunes?
I don't know. He's expensive.
Yeah.
So he's unproven, but he's expensive.
Yeah, I mean, if we got Vinicius Junior or someone, I'd suggest that was a Galactico signing. I think maybe this guy's a little bit underneath, but yeah, it's difficult, that forward line, because Salah, Mane, Bobby, they're all a similar age, and you've got to ease the three of them out of the club in a way that's not sort of revolution. Evolution, not revolution. You've got to ease them out of the club while bringing the other players in. We started that process with Diaz, maybe started a bit early with Jota, and now we've got Nunes as well. But really, the sort of person I want as a backup striker, I would have kept Origi. We've got a couple of kids coming through. We've got Oakley Kanonye, who you might remember was the lad that gave Trent Alexander-Arnold the ball back, the ball boy that gave Trent Alexander-Arnold the ball back against Barcelona. Right. He's come through. He's been doing all right in the reserves, apparently. So there's always players coming through, but it's quite a difficult thing to manage the forward line and sort of moving the old guard out and bringing the new ones in. And I don't really envy Klopp doing it. I wouldn't have been surprised if Klopp had gone now, because you've got Virgil van Dijk, who's about 30, John Matip's about that age, Hendo's about that age, and these players are going to have to start in the next few years. And it's quite a rebuilding job someone's going to have on their hands. So I'm surprised to that bit extra. It'd be quite easy for him to walk away and say, I've done my bit. This is somebody else's fart in a colander to look after. A bit like Fergie did with you guys.
His reputation has grown by the day, not needed to get bigger.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, there's a rebuilding job coming at Liverpool in the next few years, and it starts with the forward line this summer. So we're doing the right thing about it. I think it's Michael Edwards we're losing. He's our financial guy that we're losing.
Yes.
And he's been responsible. Yeah, he's responsible for some of the really good deals, and I know he works quite closely with Klopp as well.
I believe it's his deputy that's taking over, though. So there's
some
continuity.
So he's been around for a little while. So hopefully he's sort of picked up a few sort of tricks of the trade as he's learned from Edwards. So hopefully we won't see too much change there. And I think that was quite important in keeping Klopp as well. And then brought somebody completely random and new in. I think that would have been quite difficult. The whole thing kind of revolves around Klopp because he's made himself so integral to the club, quite rightly. So if he has suggestions on who to bring in and who to replace, then I can't see the club going against his wishes.
Yeah.
But really, nor should they for the time being.
No, they shouldn't. I mean, if you have a coach of his quality, as Fergie used to say, it's the most important person at the club. I mean, he used to say that about himself, but it was okay because it was Fergie.
Yeah.
and you put the right kind of structure around it. And we've debated on this podcast many times, like what's the balance of great coach versus having the right money and the right technical and scouting people. But it's all there. It's all important. But the most important person is the manager. Start with that and then build everything else.
I have got a fear maybe for how the season ended. It felt a bit weird beforehand. We've just lost the Champions League final. Now we're going to go do the tour of the city. But I reckon that's the kind of pick-me-up the players needed.
The failure parade. Yeah, it's great. Yeah.
I reckon that's the kind of pick-me-up the players needed, because I am a little bit concerned about is there going to be a hangover into next season through how this season ended? And I hope there isn't. I hope they can sort of block it out their mind and move on to the next season fresh.
Yeah.
A little bit of a worry for me.
Next season is going to be weird anyway, isn't it? I mean, do you guys have a hangover? United starting fresh. I mean, City are going to start from a position of massive strength. I mean, maybe they lose Bernardo, who's a really important player for them, but I'm sure they'll just go spend another 100 million on some other player that they need. They've obviously got Haaland coming in, who's just going to score boatloads of goals.
Do you think he is?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I guess I could make a case for his slightly awkward style and the pressure and the fact that he has to adapt, because Dortmund and City don't play anything like the same kind of football, and it's definitely impacted Sancho, that transition. But he's a player who will score 6-yard tap-ins for absolute fun.
Yeah,
and City create more of those 6 to 10 yard chances than any other team on the planet.
Yeah,
and he's just going to get so many chances.
the only reason I suggested that is because obviously City have been used to playing so long. They've got Gabby Jesus, but of course they don't tend to play a system with a number 9 in place. So I was just wondering, it's not only he that's got to adapt, it's the other players as well. I mean, it's made for Leroy Sané, who obviously left a couple of years ago. But you imagine those the number of goals that City used to score from a Leroy Sané pullback from the byline after he dribbled all the way down the wing. You imagine that with Erling Haaland. That would have been a thing indeed. So, but you're right about next season being a bit of a weird one because of the World Cup, and I can only imagine Klopp will keep quiet about that and sort of keep his own counsel and not complain too much about it.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. He'd complain if his bins were taken at 10:10 and not 10 o'clock. So it's going to be strange for everyone. But like, we've known this for 12 years. It clearly shouldn't be happening in Qatar, and it shouldn't be happening in the middle of the season. But it is. And the players are all going to go, despite all the talk of protests. I mean, Erling Haaland revealing his Human Rights T-shirt, then going to Human Rights FC. Great. Top stuff, lad. Yeah, we know how far your morals stretched. And it was about 400 grand a week. That's how far they stretched. So.
Do you feel a bit worried next season by Newcastle? Because
yeah, of course.
The top 4 places. I mean, I don't think you guys could talk about the league. Maybe Chelsea possibly could. I think it's us, Chelsea and City talking about the league. So there's you, Arsenal, Spurs, and if they had a transfer window with Teddy Bear Head, Eddie Howe, you could be like 4 or 5 teams going for one spot.
Eddie Howe likes to claim it was just hard when they got Newcastle up the table.
Yeah,
sure, Eddie.
He's got Jake Humphries as his friend cheering through on those.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but
I mean, look, if there was ever a case for testing nuclear weapons on a city, it's Eddie Howe and Newcastle and Jake Humphries riding the bomb all the way down.
But yeah, there's going to be about 5 teams competing for that last Champions League place, maybe. I mean, if West Ham have a good season like they have done.
I mean, we'll see if West Ham can keep it up. If they keep all the players, obviously, like Rice and Bowen, what happens with those two this summer?
He's been linked with you, hasn't he, Declan Rice?
Yeah, and he would be the right kind of profile of player to come in for sure. It looks like West Ham want too much money though for United to do that deal. But I think to your point, yes, Newcastle have a lot of headroom in their FFP, so they can spend, because Mike Ashley was such a skinflint, that they can spend quite a lot of money before they're pushing that, and obviously the owners can inject as much capital as they want because there's no limit. And filthy money. And Eddie Howe will go, well, I don't know anything about that, repeatedly all next season. So, yeah, they can spend a lot of money. They obviously got a good technical director in Dan Ashworth from Brighton, who knows how to play the sort of middle of the market. They might go for a marquee signing. You can imagine that the owners wanting that kind of marquee signing that they can parade in their new green and white second kit.
Do you think they can attract a marquee signing as yet? Because I'm thinking back to City when they first got the money. I mean, didn't come off. Robinho, I mean, that was kind of a marquee signing, wasn't it? Although it didn't work out.
He thought he was going to United, though.
Yeah, he did. But at the end, they were also signing like Roque Santa Cruz and people like that. So they couldn't get those marquee signings in straight. Do you reckon it will still be the same for Newcastle? Or do you reckon they'll be able to pull these in?
They're not going to get a player who would go to one of Europe's super clubs, I don't think. And I don't know how serious their efforts to convince Darwin Núñez were or not, or whether that was just a good agent talk to up the bidding. But one level down from that, if they pay the kind of wages that we assume they're going to pay, then of course they're going to attract players. So what's the difference between 5th in the Premier League and 16th in the Premier League, right? Money. And so, yeah, they will attract good players, and it'll take them a few years because of FFP, or at least the Premier League's version of profit and sustainability rather than the UEFA version, which is like a joke now. So it's just a matter of time. And look, the amount of points they got in the second half last season would have taken them into the Champions League spots anyway. They got a lot of points in the second half. So, yeah, of course. For United, just depends on the development. I imagine Conte will push Spurs to make the kind of signings he wants, and they'll have a real crack at doing well in the Champions League and in the Premier League next season. They've got new owners at Chelsea who have promised to invest. They need about 6 defenders because everyone's left on a free.
Yeah.
So they'll have to spend money on that. So question mark there, but they've obviously got a very good coach. And then after that, Arsenal, United, West Ham, I guess, and maybe Newcastle will all be fighting it out for a place in the Europa Conference League. Top quality stuff.
I quite like that Conference League. I'm glad my team wasn't in it, but it was quite good fun to work out.
Yeah, I enjoyed Roma losing 6-1 at Bodo Glimt.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy them winning the trophy, but yeah.
I'm looking at my map above me. There's like teams you haven't heard of for quite some time, and all of a sudden you sort of, that's pretty good.
Yeah, well, it did what it like, everyone bemoaned it, of course, but it did what it was supposed to do, which is give Europe sort of second and third tier countries more European football.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm glad we won't be near it for some. Well, I say we won't be near it for some time. Let's probably put the kiss of death on it or something. Then we'll be
you're right.
In it season after next. But
United had West Ham to thank for not having to be in the Conference League next season. That would have been too much. Europa League's bad enough. Europa League group stages are really poor quality.
Yes.
The knockout rounds can be pretty good, but the group stages are really dire. So we'll see what Ten Hag does with that. It's a chance to give some game time to some of these younger players we're talking about, perhaps. Yeah. Or he may want to just create momentum and play the first team in there. We'll see. Depends what kind of squad United have got next season, because it's a lot of them gone already and quite a few need to go as well.
Yeah. 10 players, Rangnick said?
Rangnick said 10 players. It won't be. They can't do that many deals. They've never done that many deals.
It's not Football Manager, is it? So, you have to sort of be a bit more realistic about these things.
All right. Well, predictions for next season. Who do you reckon? I mean, no, we're making predictions at the end of this season, but why not? Right? We'll come back to it in a year's time. And so before the transfer window is even really properly opened, well, it's been open a couple of weeks, but a couple of months before it closes, July, August, nearly 3 months before it closes.
Yeah.
Still want you to make predictions. Who's going to win the league next season?
Manchester City.
Yeah.
I mean, it's depressing, and we haven't been that much different from them. I think over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, is it 1 point between us and City? We'll do what we normally do. We'll pretty hard, but it will look for quite some time like City will win. So I can't see past a City victory. We might get. I can see us getting another cup next season. I can see us doing that. Might be the Champions League.
Yeah, let's hope not. You've got enough of those. Don't need any more of that.
Twice as many as some clubs.
I don't know. Ajax, how many have they got? They got 3.
Have they got 3?
Or 4? I think they got 3.
Yeah.
I can't remember. They got 3 in a row, didn't they?
Twice as many as some other clubs.
No, they've got 4. They've got 4 because they won the one in 95 with Edwin.
They did.
So,
still twice as many as other clubs, though.
Yeah, I don't know what clubs you're talking about. Bayern, how many have they got? Celtic, they've only got 1.
They've only got 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Milan have got 7, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've got the same or one behind them.
Enough of that nonsense. Very nice to talk to you, Chris.
And you?
Yeah. Good luck for the season to come. No,
you
not
don't
really.
mean that, do you?
I don't.
You mean as much as if I wished you luck for next season.
Yeah. Well, we shall check in with you at some point during the season, no doubt. See how things are going. It can't get any worse for United.
It can. There's relegation zone.
Yeah, well, that won't happen. But 7th place ain't going to win itself, is it?
No, that Everton trophy doesn't win itself, does it? The Everton Cup.